Hey there, business owners and entrepreneurs. You've landed on The Marketing Corner, brought to you by CS Design Studios. Every week, we serve up essential insider tips and powerful strategies to elevate your brand. So, let's level up your marketing game. Stay sharp, stay tuned, and let's kickstart your path to marketing excellence. Right here, right now. Your adventure begins.
One of these episodes we needed to do in a full British accent, Lily.
All of it? Talk?
I love it.
Oh,
yes.
my goodness.
That gets me fired up. I could just listen to our intro like all day, every day, and then go around the rest of it going, entrepreneurs.
Reaching for the stars.
It's a pretty great intro. I gotta say.
Love it.
I
do. We were, I don't know if you heard this story or not, but we were watching. We're always continuing on, webinars. We love to continue our education, I should say. And so we're watching a webinar on podcasts, and somebody had that type of intro. I stopped everything, went on Fiverr right away, and we found that intro, and we got it in like a couple of days.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, so super excited today. We got Wesley Sorce of the Tucson Tasty Show. Woo!
How you doing?
Great. I knew you were going to bring goodies for us today.
How did you know?
This is what I'm supposed
That's
to
just
show.
you. Yeah,
Fair
that's just
enough.
you.
Well, thank you for allowing me to come on the show. I'm super excited about everything.
That's the least I can do. I was on the Tucson Tasty Show, spoiled as for an hour.
That was a really good show.
It was phenomenal, man. I was so just pumped up that rest of the weekend. I watched it a few times, and it was just, I get to hang out with you for one, but Marcella from the little one,
Yeah.
and the food that we had on the show,
Delicious.
yeah.
And then we rounded it off with some good wine.
Yes.
Yeah. On Saturday, if you missed it, you can go to YouTube, the Tucson Tasty or the Tasty Show 520, excuse me, the Tasty Show 520 on YouTube, and see the newest episode. I got to interview the owner and brewer from Harbottle.
Oh, wow.
For an hour.
Wow.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
And it was probably one of the best interviews that we've done because
Nice.
the history that he brought into
Yeah.
the show
Wow.
with Harbottle.
Yeah.
And John, do you know who John Harbottle is?
I've never met him.
Captain
no.
John Harbottle
Wow.
was in the
Wow.
British Navy.
Wow.
And I can go on and on because I mean, it's just, I love history. And then he brought in beer.
Wow.
So we're talking about beer and history.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
he literally has a drunken history on one of his cans because the story is told
Yeah.
by his wife. And it was hilarious. But
Wow.
you got to go and check it
Wow.
out.
Definitely go check that out. What's the YouTube page again? The channel?
The Tasty Show 520. And don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe, absolutely.
Subscribe.
So I couldn't wait for you to get in here, Wesley, because not only are you a phenomenal host of your show.
Thank you.
And I love the collaboration between you and your wife, Tina, how she's kind of like the quote unquote behind the scenes.
Producer.
The producer
Tina.
taking all the shots, getting all the clips, kind of directing stuff as we go. I mean, it was just, I've been on a few radio shows, but in no discredit to the other shows that I've been on. They're all phenomenal, but yours was like fine-tuned. It was awesome. So thank you so much for having me on that show and getting fed and hanging out with you on the Saturday. That was just a good
Thank you
weekend.
for coming in.
That was
we
a
appreciate
good
it.
weekend.
It was great
So
hosting you.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about, there's a few things I want to talk about today, and we were talking a little bit before the show started, was I kind of see sometimes when people want to market their business, right?
Right.
They either think for some reason they got to go all digital or all traditional, right? From your experience with your show already, first tell us how many people you have listening, and give us some of the demographics of the people that are listening to your show.
So on the radio itself, we have approximately 15,000, give or take, listening every week,
Yeah.
and it's the demographic of 64-year-olds. I mean, that's a median age. So we have between 40 and upper into the 80s. And I've met a lot of the listeners up in their older age, and they see me and they're like, "You're doing great things. Thank you so much." And it's like, okay, cool. Now we got to get a younger crowd, but that's what we're working for or towards as well. But a lot of the people that are listening have that extra income that they can spend on things. So they're listening and they spend approximately. I'm trying to remember the one sheet from the station. I think it's $175 million a year on radio ads, or not on radio ads, but through the radio ads, so through the advertisement. Yeah. And it's an untapped market because everybody's moved away from radio so much. And you get into the podcasts, and you also have TV, and then you have Netflix and everything else. But it's definitely an untapped market when you're talking about exposure, and there's still a lot of companies that still advertise on the radio, and they're very successful for that. One of the things that I've seen, I had a company that I actually work with on a regular basis, and they were doing solely digital advertisement. And they said, well, we want to move to the next level. Maybe we'll do some radio. You're very affordable, and we try to keep it that way on purpose. And so they started advertising with us with our very basic package. And it was $300 a month, and they got to come on the show once a month and do the interview. And they went from $1,500 a week in sales for their specific product to $2,000 a day.
I love it. I love it.
A day. And it's only going up further from that because as any of my sponsors, I want to be a champion for my sponsors because they're giving me their hard-earned cash and trusting me with that to advertise for them. So I connect them into all of my networks, and they just had one of the biggest sales they've ever had. And 100% said, this is all you. Thank you so much for doing everything that you do.
Yeah, so. I'm just, that gets me even more fired up for the show, you know, because I love what you and Tina do. You mentioned a few things there. One, you guys are voracious networkers, right?
Absolutely. You have to be in Tucson.
You guys divide and conquer, right? Where if you're talking to somebody and Tina sees somebody that you need to talk to, and it's just you guys are like connected, you know,
it's telepathic.
Like it's like you're married or something, right?
18,
which I would know
18 years in
really?
In let's see, just under 2 weeks.
Well,
congratulations.
Okay, so we need a clap for that.
An
happy
applause.
Happy anniversary there.
Happy almost anniversary.
Yeah. So not only that, but you're really good at shaking hand, kissing babies, right? But the little stuff that Lily, now you get to bring up what Wesley brought you and put it up to the camp. He has his logos on everything, which is great, right?
Yes.
Then this is explain what the product is.
So this is a freshie from Dirty Cactus Soap, and if you don't know Kelly Strauss, you need to because she's very inventive with what she does. I asked her, or I saw a freshie, and I was like, "Can I put a logo on this?" And she said, "You know what? Why not?" So we started working on this, and I had to smell over 100 different smells to get to this apple pie. And she kept this apple pie in her bag in a jar away from me. She was like, "This is the last one you're going to smell." And we went through everything else, and I really don't like a lot of potpourri smells. I just don't. They overwhelm my senses.
And it goes with the show. It goes with the show,
and
you know?
So she opens it up, and I smell it, and that was it. But she walked me through every single one of them, and she actually got a lot of good ideas because I was combining different smells, and she was like, "Oh, that's a really good idea." And then and then we got to the apple pie, and hands down, it was a winner.
So good. I wish you guys could smell it.
When you put that in your car, Lily, it's great because your car smells phenomenal, but also you're going to get hungry wherever you go.
Yes.
That's the only bad thing about that. And then you said also you gave me a tip, like kind of put it in maybe a gym bag or a laundry bag.
Yeah, once you start losing the smell, throw it in a gym bag or a drawer, and it'll continue to smell amazing.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
So Wesley has those. I don't know if you noticed on my little laptop. What's the one sticker? I have a couple stickers from Wesley on there.
You do?
Yeah, and it's of the Tucson. What you see on this, it's the same thing that you see on his laptop.
Oh, on his hat. Okay, I have
size,
seen that one.
Yeah, so it's all the grassroots stuff that people tend to overlook now, but it's still, I mean, every time I pop up my laptop, whether I'm at Starbucks or here or wherever, people always say, "Who's that?" I said, "We got to listen to the show." Yes, listen to my buddy on the show, right?
Yeah.
So it all adds up. We talk all the time about, brand awareness, reaching people and making impressions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every single time, like right now, your logo's making an impression. It's going to have this impression, and it's just everything you do. I love it. I love it. It's called hard work, guys. Do it. You have rumor is you have a TV show or something?
Not a rumor. The TV show will air July 6th. That will be the first
Nice.
episode. We just locked in our first restaurant. It's going to be Mama Luisa's, historic Mama Luisa's, because they've been in Tucson since 1955. And it's the best Italian food, but it's a 3-generation restaurant as well. So you've got this incredible story behind everything. And Michael Elefante is the executive chef, and he's also the co-owner of the restaurant and a good friend. And he's just so passionate about everything that he does. So it's going to be super easy to do a TV show with him. But he's going to do the heavy lifting. I've just got to make sure the camera guy's in the right place.
So what's the show going to entail? Is it going to be a lot like your radio show?
It is. It's going to be a little bit more of behind the scenes in the kitchen,
Nice.
because I'm watching stuff like I love Somebody Feed Phil. I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't, you need to watch it because it's hilarious and Phil is incredible. But it's him eating the entire time. That's all he's doing, and he's not really getting a full story. He is getting a story about the food, but that's not the focus. So I want to get the story about the food, and how they develop it and where it comes from and the history of why they're doing what they're doing. So it is very similar to what we're doing on the radio show.
Yeah.
But the radio show is going to be there to keep me in line of what the original vision is, and we're going to continue doing that.
I love all your hard work. You're positioning yourself. You've already positioned yourself, along with maybe Shane from Tucson Foodie, as the go-to guy for foodies and food in Tucson.
Yeah, we're partners, as you can see.
And tell us a little bit about because a lot of people have seen it. That Tucson is one of the city of gastronomy.
UNESCO City of Gastronomy.
Yeah. So what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
So the UNESCO rating is actually a historic rating, and when you're looking at UNESCO, you have to take a step back and look at the World Heritage Sites. The World Heritage Sites are Taj Mahal and so on, right? And they're UNESCO sites. We were the first UNESCO city in North America, Tucson, and we got it for a city of gastronomy because of the history of the people that eat here. And people have been farming, or the Tohono O'odhams have been farming here continuously for 5,000 years, and they keep finding more and more and more. And it's all about the black rock, which is actually where the Tucson name comes from. Right, you get the Tucson and. That means black rock in the Tohono O'odham language, and that's why you don't see Tucson repeated anywhere else in the world, because it was such a unique name.
Right.
So, because of that, and because we've really developed this really cool subculture, you can't go anywhere else in the world and see this kind of diversity and the culture around food as much as we get it here. And you can go anywhere you want, because I've been around the world as well, and there's a lot of amazing food, but you get these little pockets. You don't have an entire city where everybody's you can go to any part of the city and have good food almost any part of the time of the day. Go up to Phoenix, everything shuts down at 8 p.m. Completely. And you're hard pressed to find anything under a $400 a plate meal at the steakhouses or something like that, unless you have reservations for something else. So
one of my favorites around here, we're at Trellis Town in Tucson.
Yes,
we're about 1.5 miles away, and ironically, it was featured on Tucson Foodie this week. Amelia's.
Oh yes,
I don't know if you've been there or not.
Of course,
love
Amelia's.
Man,
that's down in
Grant and a little
Craycroft.
bit, a little bit east of Craycroft on the north side of the street. It's very easy to drive by it if you're going too fast.
Their Bedia mini chimneys are some of the best.
Sounds good.
And typically when you get a chimichanga, everything's dried out kind of through the frying process. When you bite into those, they're still juicy, and you get all that amazing flavor and au jus from the beef. Sorry.
I'm getting so hungry now.
So I know I
get that a lot.
I know I can't ask you to name your top 3, 5, or 10 favorite meals because you want to be very diplomatic across every local restaurant, right?
Absolutely.
However, say there's somebody coming in from the East Coast, they've never had like quote unquote real Mexican food as they will find here. What are some of the top spots? Knowing that you're going to leave somebody out. I get it. Well, I always do, right?
Well, it's just a day of food. It's all you got to do because you got to go to the little one for breakfast.
Yep.
And maybe lunch. Yep. And if they don't have dinner, so you got to go around the corner to El Charro. And if you don't like that, it's a very traditional Tucson Mexican food. But we are the best Mexican food in America.
Absolutely. We got the 23 miles of the best Mexican food.
So instead of 23 miles, it's rebranded. It's the best Mexican food in America. They wanted to make it simple and new title. That is the new title.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Probably not. Well, I hope not. Because they're working very hard to rebrand. But El Charro invented the chimichanga. Our Gordos, who had the fame to claim as well. They went back and forth.
Chimichangas. If you really love chimichanga, that guy.
Yes, absolutely incredible. I grew up going over there and getting sopapillas with the honey, and that was our favorite dessert.
Absolutely,
bread with honey. I mean, what's better? Forget cake, forget everything else.
Bread with honey. Yeah.
But so it would be, I would say the little one for breakfast because all the fresh ingredients, that's exactly what you need first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible, just wholesome food. And then the location and the people there are so welcoming.
Yeah.
Go over to El Charro for lunch because you got to go to El Charro. It's the historic restaurant in Tucson. And for dinner, I mean, if you want to stay in the Mexican food,
for this first question,
I would have to say Zio Pepe is Sonoran Italian fusion, so I think it qualifies.
Sure,
I would go there for dinner. Now you'll have to roll home, and you probably won't have to. You probably won't want to eat for the next week, but. I mean, that's a good diversity of the food that we have in Tucson.
Yeah. My favorite has always been Minidito.
Yes.
I love Minidito. Chinito Gordo on Oracle. Oh, my God. They have a shrimp caliche, chili relleno.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So... I just started a diet 2 days ago, so this is not helping me out, Wes.
Can you smell this?
Everything in moderation. And because
Yeah.
Tina's actually, she's going to school to become a dietitian.
Really?
So it's everything in moderation.
Yeah.
And so you can be on a diet.
Right.
Just
limit. Don't do what I normally do.
Right. 3 plates of food at the little one is a bad idea.
All right, so outside of Mexican food, I mean, where are some of for people that are listening and watching this outside of Tucson, and we have a gazillion phenomenal local restaurants,
More than 1,500.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that I know there's way too many to list, but what is off the top of your head? Someone coming in from Tucson who's not a Mexican food, fan of Mexican food. What are some of the top 2, 3, 4?
Mama Luisa's is really good. And I keep going back to Mama Luisa's, but I love Mama Luisa's. And it's not just because Michael Elefante is such a great guy. It's literally because the food, it reminds me of my home food.
Yeah.
Because I'm Italian. I grew up, my mom was always making spaghetti or something, and we always made it fresh at home. And you come home and you could smell the spaghetti sauce cooking from down the street. And you're like, we've got spaghetti tonight. And so excited about it. But the way that he does his sauce is incredible, not only because it takes 48 hours to cook, which means that it's not raw, but he does it 45 gallons at a time, and it's perfect every time. And then the noodles are fresh, and everything's as fresh as he can get it, which is just awesome. And that would be the Italian. Now, that's more of a down to earth meal. If you want a nice fancy meal, you got to go up to. And it just completely left my mind. Vivace's. Vivace's, that's a higher end Italian style, but it's different regions of Italy because that's more of the fish, the Mediterranean side of Italy. So you have northern Italy, and then you have southern Italy, and then another really amazing one again is Zio Pepe. I love Zio Pepe. Chef Devin Sanner and Matt Cable are doing an incredible job. They took 3 months to develop their pizza crust, and it has some of the most amazing ingredients, and it is some of the best. I don't know if you've had their flatbread or pizza crust.
No.
But you need to. No. They also do just the bread with dipping sauces, and it's incredible. They're is it elote arancini? Yeah. But it's this Sicilian fried rice ball.
Wow.
That is it's a street food in Sicily, and but you pick it up and you bite into it, and it's like risotto.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It's so good. And then they put this incredible sauce over the top that they developed. And they spend so much time. And Devin is a nerd when it comes to food. So when you go to a gut dinner is Gastronomic Union of Tucson, and they have a series every year, and it sells out in about 15 minutes. So you go to Eventbrite and you get the ticket as soon as it becomes available.
Yeah.
And they do some of the most incredible stuff dishes there, and it's all served by the chefs to 80 people at the Mountain Oyster Club, and it's just incredible.
Wow.
Sorry, off track.
No.
It's hard to pick a number one restaurant.
Yeah, and I really put you on the spot. I know.
Fair enough. And locally, those would be the ones that are always my go-to.
Right.
And Chef Gary Hickey over at Charles Steak in Del Rey. That one's really amazing. He has a lobster stuffed with a tamale. If you ever, it's a Maine lobster stuffed with the tamale, and these lobsters aren't small lobsters. We're not talking about the 2-pound lobsters. We're talking about the nice 4 to 5 pound lobsters.
Yeah, a place that you and I often see each other on, especially in particular Wednesday mornings. Chef Danny has put together a phenomenal menu at the Sands Club.
He's also a Tucson original, like
me.
And he's a 2-time winning Iron Chef of Tucson. And I don't know if you knew that or not, but he opened the Monica. Downtown, and just absolutely incredible personality, and he's such an amazing mentor, and his leadership skills in the kitchen are just hands down from what I've seen. I haven't interacted with a lot of chefs in the kitchen where they're in a leadership position. I get the goofy side of the chefs more often than not, which is fine because it's good entertainment for the show. But when Danny comes in and he's like, "You're doing this and this. You need to do this," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, I'm done." And I pivot, and we're good. And he's given us some amazing insight. So
yeah. He just they just updated the menu for the spring menu. It's phenomenal. I mean, everything on there. And the thing is, like, the Sands Club is one of the few places that I would try something new every time I go there. You know what I mean?
And Danny would actually probably beat me up a little bit if I didn't mention that a lot of that is from executive sous chef Seth.
Ooh.
So his sous chef is running a lot of the kitchen. The executive chefs are they're the head of the kitchen. They're the generals. Their sous chefs are their colonels, lieutenants, and then everybody else is under them to cook and make sure that everything is running properly. So when you're talking about Seth and you're talking about everybody in a kitchen, if you get a chef that is hands down, this is what I do. This is I'm the only one that's doing it. That's a chef that is very conceited, if you will, and self-centered only because if they're not giving the props to everybody else.
Right.
Gary Hickey gives his props to Matt Love. Matt Love's going to be on the show this Saturday, which is going to be awesome because that's the Welly Chonga. It's going to be interesting because it's a beef Wellington, but an chimichanga. Oh, man. And then, but every single one of the chefs want to prop, or not only prop up, but they want to promote everybody else in the kitchen as well.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
I haven't had a single or instance where they don't want to promote everybody.
Yeah, I love that.
Wow.
I love that. Lily, did you have any questions?
I'm just taking it all in.
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm getting really hungry. I know where I'm gonna go. I am not very well versed in the food. Like around here, I love to eat, but I don't really go to like I live in Oro Valley, so it's like
She's one of those.
Yeah.
So the Taste of Oro Valley is actually happening on Saturday as well. We're going to be up there. We were invited to come up and stop in and represent a local winery, Laramida Cellars. I want to say wine cellars, but it's just Laramida Cellars. And they're the wine sponsor for the Taste of Oro Valley. So they're going to be up there. It's going to be really cool. But it's going to be a lot of restaurants from the Oro Valley area.
Nice.
Hopefully. You got Noble Hobbs, you got Fork and Fire. And then they brought in, the keg and stuff, because one of the things that Oro Valley is in dire need of is some Tucson restaurants to move out there.
Yeah. I mean, the places that I've gone to are really, really cool, but you're right. A little more the locally type of Tucson restaurants.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So if you've gone and listened to this, I mean, I know you're thoroughly impressed by Wesley. You're going to be listening to his show, but again, getting back to like the first original type of questions we had for the show, if you want to be a sponsor or reach out to Wesley to become a sponsor on his show and reach thousands of people in that demographic who spend money, how would somebody get a hold of you, Wesley?
You can call me directly at 520-977-3925. Again, that's 520-977-3925. Or you can reach out to my email, and it's Wesley Sorce. That's WesleySorce at thetastyshow.com.
Yeah, and if you want to go through, and I'm going to flat out say this, we were at the same kind of table there at the Sands, and I heard you go through your pitch.
Yes.
It is very, very informative. It's not a high sales pitch.
Yeah.
You're very, very educational. You know what I mean? So I loved your pitch.
Thank you.
I thought it was exactly how I would do it. You know what I mean? Very kind of low pressure, give a lot of good facts, educate the potential client. So, I mean, reach out to Wesley if you want to, if you're, no pun intended, but that little piece of the marketing pie.
Yes.
Right? You got social, you got your Google, you got your SEO. Think about some traditional opportunities, namely radio shows.
Radio and
sponsors.
TV?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
radio and TV. When's your show coming on your TV show? On July 6th?
July 6th is going to be the
Do you have
first
a channel
episode.
yet? Or?
It's Cake on 9 and CW.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. We need to have you start like autographing our board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The podcast guests, you're going to be the first one that's actually going to autograph our board here. So you don't forget the little ones.
The little one.
Who,
Well, we are
stepping
hoping to be in
stones.
53 markets by the end of the year. So
Wow.
That's the goal.
Wow.
So,
If you ever need
insight.
judges for this was a little more salt. I binge watch Food Channel all the time, so I could
Yes.
be a judge.
Oh, yeah.
I could be a judge.
My kids can watch two things:
What's your
documentaries and food.
What's your favorite show on the Food Channel?
That one's hard as well. I mean, there's so many really good ones. Chopped is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That is
Gordon
fun.
Ramsay has to be the hands down my favorite.
Yeah.
And it's not Hell's Kitchen. And everybody goes to Hell's Kitchen because it's like, well, it's Gordon Ramsay being angry and there's lots of drama. No, that's not not what I want to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the F word. It's Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, and I'm
Yeah.
talking about the old episodes.
Right,
When
right.
he's in England and
Yeah,
traveling around
yeah.
with his wife, filming these shows and helping these restaurants out. That is the pinnacle of Gordon Ramsay, in my opinion. Now, what he's done in the last decade
Yeah.
is absolutely incredible, and his branding is spot on. But
Yeah. I dig Bobby Flay.
yeah.
I'm a big Bobby Flay guy. What's that I look for? You hate Bobby Flay?
Bobby Flay, and I hope he's listening. I love watching the Bobby Flay challenge, Bobby Flay or whatever.
Beat Bobby Flay.
and
Yeah.
when he loses,
Yeah.
that's my favorite episode.
Yeah. He's a little arrogant, right? He's a little arrogant. I'll give you that. But I mean,
What about Guy?
Guy
Guy
Fieri,
Fieri.
Yeah.
he's
I
from
dig him.
California.
I
He's a
dig
good
him.
guy.
I dig him.
It's funny.
The Tournament of Champions. Those are good episodes,
They are.
right? I mean, you got the best of the best of the best
My-
going up against. There's a guy from Tucson that God, what's his name?
Gary Hickey,
No, he's on the Tournament of Champions this season.
Lindy,
He's a young
Oh.
dude. He went to South Point.
Tournament of Champions. I've got to look it up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, gosh, yeah, he lost to Jet Tila, who's
okay.
kind of a decent chef.
Then it's not a bad thing.
Carlos something. I have to look it
I'll
up.
have to find out.
Yeah, Carlitos.
I'm going to be embarrassed probably when I look it up and go, oh,
Yeah, but he's a very energetic, a younger dude.
yeah.
Yeah, hyper competitive.
More recently, Gary Hickey was on the Battle of the Decades, and he won for us. He took everything.
Yeah.
And Lindy from Thunder Bacon Burger's been on on there, and then the Parish chef's been. We have a lot of amazing
Chef
chefs
Maria has
here.
been on a few shows on Food Network.
Yes.
I love Boca. Oh God, I love Boca tacos. Another one of my favorites, Hermanos.
Hermanos.
I love Hermanos.
Hermanos
With an H. Hermanos.
Hermanos.
At Hermanos on 4th Avenue.
Okay.
That's the place where you and I need to go have lunch there or something.
Yes.
It's a phenomenal. The brothers, it's a playoff Hermanos.
I keep
are
jokingly
phenomenal.
say
They're
that we're going to
phenomenal
start
dudes.
a food tour, and
Yeah.
every time I say that, everybody's like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm on your first tour.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we need to do, and just kind of go explore the food of Tucson, and then get a bite from everywhere we go.
Yep.
Just have to get a bus to drive everybody around.
Yeah. That's
That
it.
would be awesome. I
Let's
would
do
watch
it.
that.
Sponsored by Sean Campbell and Wesley.
There we go.
Wesley Sorce, thank you so much.
Thank you.
you so much. I know we took a little bit of your time today. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your education on, Tucson and all the food. And most importantly, thank you for your education on, how important radio can be to someone's marketing plan, giving us, the quote unquote old school, grassroots type of marketing lessons you did. I really appreciate that. So
Thank you.
thank you so much. Lily, thank you as well for being a phenomenal engineer as always.
Thank you.
Go ahead and take us out. Until next time, see you soon.
And that's a wrap on today's Marketing Corner with CS Design Studios. Remember, the journey to greatness is non-stop. Harness today's insights and let them fuel your ambitions. Big thanks to our community of go-getters and visionaries. And remember to subscribe and activate alerts to stay connected for more transformative ideas. Till next time, keep reaching for the stars.
Stars.